to our Sunday service. Now for me, it is a glorious morning, and I'm really glad that you join us for this morning's service. The theme of today's service is full and overflowing, and I'm looking forward to Graham Ross, our regional minister, talking on that theme later. On my first morning walk, after we'd come back from our holiday in Wales, I stopped right here. Now, Cambridge, the previous weeks, had suffered a heat wave, and even in the woods here, it was really obvious. Now, where I usually come to sit and admire the young green shoots of bluebells, the ground looked as if it was covered with hay. And if I could hear ultrasound, according to this book that discovers the hidden lives of trees, I would have heard the trees' desperate need for water. When trees are really thirsty, they begin to scream. If you're out in the forest, you won't be able to hear them because all takes place at ultrasonic level. Scientists at the Swiss Federal Institute for Forest, Snow and Landscape Research recorded the sounds. And this is how they explain them. Vibrations occur in the trunk when the flow of water from the roots to the leaves is interrupted. This is purely mechanical and probably doesn't mean anything. Whether it means something or doesn't, when I was surrounded by this palpable drought, my first thought was, this is how I feel. Now that's not a good start for a service about being full and overflowing. Now I do come to Hardwick Wood almost daily to walk the dog, but also to have some quiet time. And during a time of spiritual drought, I find it very useful to have a scaffold for my quiet time. Now, the app Lectio 365 provides that sort of scaffold for me, and many of our church family are using it, and if you haven't come across it, I would like to introduce you to it. It says on the app itself, Lectio 365 is a Christian daily devotional resource that helps you encounter God and shape your life by praying the Bible every day. Each day, the app helps me to make time to pray, pause to be still, R for rejoice with a psalm, and reflect on a Bible passage. A, ask God to help us and others, and Y, yield to His will in our lives. Now, Lectio 365 is inspired by Lectio Divina, a way of meditating on the Bible that's been used by Christians for centuries. Each day we read the same passage twice and come expectant that God will speak through it. As we enter prayer, let us pause to be still, to breathe slowly, to refocus our scattered senses upon the presence of God. Holy Spirit, our teacher, as we dive into the Bible, would you awaken our heart, expand our mind, and shape our identity today? R for rejoice and reflect. I choose to rejoice today in how God is always present, that He restores my soul and makes my cup overflow. Joining with the ancient praise of all God's people in the words of Psalm 23.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Good morning. In the psalm that we've just listened to, the psalmist talks of so many reasons to be thankful and to rejoice. But for each of us this morning, there may be ones that are particularly relevant to us. For some, it may be God's provision for us and for our needs. For others, it might be his guidance in a particular situation. Or for others, even his protection through a particularly difficult, dark time. And there are going to be many, many others, I'm sure. So let's take time to think, what am I grateful for this morning, as we join in the words of our first song?